the end of Crooked Hillary. Everybody knows about her emails, all the lies. The time has come. The time is now. And we shall go on to the end, whatever the cost may be. We shall defend our republic. We shall never surrender. Let's go ahead and go to Greg in Wisconsin. Greg, what do you think? I mean, am I right? She stole it. They admit that. I mean, if she's going to try to steal the general election, isn't she?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I'm a truck driver, and I was at a restaurant 20 miles outside of St. Paul, and I was looking at the Pioneer Press there, and they had pictures of Hillary with big smiles, color that was huge. It took up like 50% of the paper, and they were talking about this sob story, you know, pushing these people, like this one woman who lost her husband, which is tragic, but she was basically using her, and the Trump pictures were him facing away from the camera. You know, people were dropping their glasses, dropping their signs. They were talking about how he was committing treason for daring Russia to get those other emails.
Well, I played the Trump clip a few days ago where he said, Russia, if you're listening, please release the other emails. The FBI admits at least 4 foreign governments were inside her server. That's their job. That's our job, is to get into their stuff. And so he's saying, please release it, which is what he should do. He doubled down. Instead of them saying, oh, look, you're a Russian agent, he's like, nothing to do with Russia. The point is that she's a crooked Hillary, so thank God that, you know, they're doing this. So we're going to play that clip coming up since you mentioned it, because I was just thinking about how amazing that was this morning. What else do you think, Greg? What do we do to counter this?
Well, I definitely think that everyone needs to go out and vote, and I think that she's definitely trying to steal it. I mean, you know, I was watching the DNC, too, and I noticed that before Hillary spoke, 2 days before, everyone was up in arms, and everyone was shouting at the stage, and then all of a sudden she gets on stage, and there was a line she said, if I'm playing the woman card, then deal me in. And before she said, deal me in, there was a whole bunch of people who said, deal me in, and she was like a second behind. So there were plants in the audience.
Sir, it's admitted that all the real delegates, whenever they would leave to go to the bathroom, were not let back in, and then they put all their own people in. It's totally, completely synthetic, like a Hollywood movie, like a third world nation, and this is the cult we're dealing with. Here's the good news, though. They have forever absolutely alienated much of their base that actually means well, that's against TPP and stuff. They're going to be joining the Patriot movement if we reach out to them. We can now deprogram all these socialists and liberals. I'm telling you, they're finally ready to understand what we're talking about. They weren't out protesting, really, Trump. They were out protesting crooked Hillary because they know, and a lot of them are going to vote for Trump now, which tells you he should win in a landslide or it's a fraud. Great points, Craig. Stephen in Florida, thanks for calling. You're on the air worldwide on this Friday edition, sir.
Yeah, hey, good afternoon, Alex. First of all, the reason I called about this whole situation with what's going on in the political scheme of things, and I remember some years ago you had given an analogy, and I fully agreed with this, and I still do, that America, you saw it like a passenger plane where it was in descent with the engines burned up. And then you said, now we're at the point, if you remember, where you said, we're now heading with the nose straight down, and we're heading for a crash. Now, the thing I want to say is this, Alex. You look at what's going on, all the, progress, so-called, it's regress, but progress the globalists have made with the food, the water, the propaganda, the black propaganda through the media, the dumbing down of our whole culture, the corruption in the political scheme, how we're trying to provoke our enemies into World War III, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's, Huxley's Brave New World, Orwell's 1984 on steroids. And here's what I want to say. I have a greater concern, as much as I hate the fact that we have a prospect of an evil person like Hillary becoming our next president. It's going to be far worse than Obama, that's for sure.
No, I hear you. And if we get, Hillary in, she's going to try to totally collapse the country further, get us into wars, but it will wake people up faster. My whole point is that if she openly steals the election, she will go in as a wounded, floundering platypus.
Well, here's my main concern, though, with that analogy again about the passenger plane. This is what people don't understand. The main thing is not what the globalists are doing. What I see is an invisible hand that has its hand, and at the back, the tail of that plane.
Sure, the big mega banks are trying to scuttle the country so they can consolidate not just our nation but others. It's the same program, and Trump just doesn't want to destroy America. He's not perfect, but he doesn't want to destroy the country.
Yeah, no, that's not what I mean, Alex. Okay, here's the thing. You mentioned yesterday and today about the judgment of God. We have made God our enemy, and just like ancient Israel, when you read the Bible, he is now unleashing, he is allowing our enemies to take us over. And it is because we have made ourselves his enemy by what we are doing. And the main problem in America, I said this to Jakari the other day, or Jakari, is the fake Christianity in here that's supposed to be the conscience.
Listen, I totally agree with you. God bless you. I got to jump, go to break, and come back with more calls. But you're dead on. Thank you so much, sir. It is the fake Christianity. I'm not on some Pharisee high horse and I'm Mr. Perfect. But they just don't fight tyranny. They don't fight abortion. They don't fight. Talk about literally being brought under God's judgment. Drug-resistant TB is killing record numbers of people. It's exploding all over the country, mainly in primary and secondary schools, where they just put illegals in with it to spread it instead of giving them treatment. I mean, talk about consciously bringing plagues upon America. We have people in office who literally want us to collapse. So they're bringing in poor, helpless, diseased people, and they're not even treating them. Justin in New York, you're on the air. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, Alex. Thank you. I've been listening to your show for about 4 years. Really appreciate what you do.
Appreciate you, man.
I've been just doing some research on, how election fraud may or may not have taken place in the history of our country. And I think really a big game changer, especially in the 21st century, is these voting machines. You know, I've seen the video there that David Knight did while at the DNC about the Microsoft voting machines. Now, I know that there's several ways that Hillary Clinton can steal the election. I would like to. I know you had mentioned.
We're going to get Bev Harris and others on. I used to have the Collier brothers when they were still alive on, and others. There are thousands of admitted cases of election fraud. We've had Diebold chief engineers go public and explain how they were ordered to do it. We've had both parties do it, but historically, the Democrats are the kings of retail fraud, dead people voting, illegals voting, and the kings of electronic fraud over the Republicans. It's just a historic fact that they are the kingpins. It doesn't mean they don't do it. And there was some evidence that they were cheating Al Gore in Florida. Gosh, I don't know who's worse, Al Gore or George Bush. The point is, I'm for the integrity of the voting system. I just tell it like it is. And if we see any evidence of overzealous Trump people engaged in election fraud, I will stand against that because we can't turn into who they are. But we need to really be exposing what's happening because this could be one of our last, I think probably the last so-called election if she steals it. I mean, we'll still have elections, but it'll be like the old Soviet Union.
Really just wanted to get out there, though, that I think, like, I'm taking a look at these polls where Trump is 7 to 10 points ahead, and that's fantastic. What I'm afraid is that they will take these voting machines and tweak their quote-unquote algorithms to rig the elections to where even if Trump is, 7% or 10% ahead in the nation, that they will rig it to compensate for that, to where no matter how much he's ahead, they're still going to steal it.
Well, let me tell you, historically, it's very hard to steal a landslide unless it's, a Stalin election. And if they do that, we're having very serious talks personally, and I know I've had those with Stone. In fact, let's try to get Stone on. It's a quickening. I'll try to get Stone on, maybe even to pop in the last 10, 15 minutes, or this Sunday I'll be here live 4 to 6 p.m. because I want to have a whole hour-long discussion about what do we do if they steal the election. Because for me, and I think Stone agrees, and I think the Donald knows this. I know the Donald knows this, that this is a real issue and front and center.
Absolutely. And another thing is, and this might be an even easier option for Hillary, is to rig the polls so that when the election comes about, they can rig the election as they had planned, and say, oh, well, Hillary's been winning this entire time anyways. There's no way the election.
Sure, and they'll have George Will and an entire group of rhinos come out and say, we told you he'd always lose. See, we're right. See, we're right. See, we're right. Absolutely. Great point. Yeah, look, it's important he have a big margin in the popular vote because that's a moral authority. They are going to try to steal California. I think he's going to win in California. I know a lot of Hispanics who are citizens who love Trump. In fact, some polls show upwards of half. In fact, remember he got the vast majority, there were still like 6, 7 candidates in major states of Hispanic voters who were Republican. But I know a lot of people who aren't even citizens that like Trump. Again, it's a bullying lie that say Hispanic Americans don't want border control. They're not idiots. In fact, they know better than other people. In fact, even ABC News, remember, and even Scarborough, NBC, had his liberal reporters on going, look, I went down to the border, and it's Hispanics want more border control than the Anglos or blacks. Do you have any idea what it's like down there? I mean, it's really scary in many areas. And it's people from China and Guatemala and Syria. I mean, it's scary, folks. At one Border Patrol sector in South Texas, you can look the numbers up. Last time I looked, it was tens of thousands of other than Mexicans in 1 month. And I don't mean Nicaraguans, El Salvador. I mean, that was a big part. It was all over the world. And some scary hombres. I mean, it's like leaving your back door open at night. They try to take common sense and act like it's insane. You see, Trump owns a bunch of hotels. And you can't get local help from the college students and all those folks because it's seasonal. You got to have people that are trained, know what they're doing, and he brings them in from Latin America, Asia, Eastern Europe, and Trump, that's what Trump's going to do. They're going to go in there with computer systems, and if somebody isn't a felon and wants to work and gets into the system, you're going to be, boom, we're talking a week, boom, you're here. You're a felon, you're a criminal, you're an aggravated, you are gone. You are rounded up, you are put on an airplane, and your butt is thrown out of the country. Period. In fact, a lot of folks actually know Trump say, get ready for a lot of immigrants. They're going to be good ones, though. Kyle in Texas, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex. Basically, I agree with you on this, that we need to hit this on many different fronts, and expose Hillary for who she is, because this is the time. I mean, you've got the Bernie supporters. They know that she's crooked. You've got even Black Lives Matter. They know that she's crooked. I mean, everybody's waking up to the fact that Hillary Clinton is a crook. And, now is the time, I believe, to hit this and hit it on the information front. We need to be everywhere that Hillary goes in big groups and definitely expose her for who she is.
I agree. I mean, again, I don't have the words to describe how important historically this time is. I mean, how would you describe it, Kyle?
I believe that our democracy is being stolen from us as we just sit back and go about our daily life, just watching TV. And
what do we do to counter Hillary? What do we do to counter Hillary?
I think the main thing that we have to do to counter Hillary is to post on our Facebooks. I mean, you can't be scared to just put this information out there and to expose who she really is.
I agree. Folks should go to Infowars.com and get the flashback of the superdelegate from California saying in February, we're going to ignore the popular vote, and get all the clips of the Republicans saying it and just keep hammering it. We're going to have more articles, more videos exposing this. And I think we push Trump. Do you agree with me that Trump needs to come out and say, she's been stealing the whole time. She's going to continue. I'm ahead. She better not try to steal it.
Absolutely, Trump. I believe Trump should say something. If he plants the seed out there, and we all get together and put it on our Facebooks, we put it out there through the info war. Because there's too much evidence out there. You've got James Comey saying that she lied. You've got. Everything shows that they're trying to get the felons to be able to vote now. They're trying to get the illegals to be able to vote. I mean, it's just so blatant.
While they deny it, they go, oh, you're racist. Someone shouldn't have to have an ID or a license or, even a bill that it's their name. No, and then they're legally trying to get it done. I mean, imagine if you went to Mexico or China, only let really vote in China, and said, I want to vote. They'd laugh at you God bless you. I appreciate your call. Andy in Maine, thank you for calling on this Friday worldwide transmission.
Hey, Alex. Listen, I had a couple of ideas I wanted to put out there. First of all, I know in my voting district here in Maine, all of the volunteers are elderly people. And I really think that it would be good if we put out there that if you have the time, volunteer at your voting station so that you can be on hand. Also, I think it would be a good idea maybe to organize exit polls at your district.
Yes.
So that you're there to actually do an exit poll yourself to account for these votes. I'm posting a group on Facebook that's going to be called, and I'm posting it in the next half hour, called Vote Protectors. And I'd like to invite everybody to go there so that we can at least have a discussion
Absolutely.
about it.
I mean, I wish I had the money to have reporters in like all 7 or 8 battleground states at the key counties that are always contested to have Leanne McAdoo, Joe Biggs, David Knight. I mean, I'm going to send reporters 50 feet away from the polling place, wherever it's legal and lawful, and then talk to folks, who'd you vote for? That's what you're supposed to do to check the integrity. I remember with Pat Buchanan, was it 1996, but I was working in there. I was even paid like, I think, $2 an hour as part of it. I mean, I didn't want the money, but that's part of it. And I remember Pat Buchanan had like 70% of the vote, but at the end of the night, they said he had like 5% or something. And everyone knew they'd stolen it from Pat Buchanan. We could see on the Scantron, bubbled in Pat Buchanan for the Republican nominee. But they stole it. There were Pat Buchanan signs everywhere. Well, here's the deal. Trump's got the money and the system to fight it. What are you expecting to happen? What's your gut tell you?
Well, my gut tells me that Hillary will do anything that she can. I mean, she has so many operatives out there, and we have to, at a grassroots level, locally, in your own district, where you live, whoever is listening right now, take an action. You talk about getting a radio show of your own and all that, but you know what? This is something that is simple. It's easy. You just have to commit to it in your district. If you're
all you do is call the county clerk or the head of elections, and they tell you where to come sign up, and you'll get put in there. And listen, when they're stealing it, they'll say, no cameras. Everyone turn cameras off. And that's when you videotape, and you get that out. And I'm telling you, we get enough of these when they're stealing them. There'll be an investigation, a Supreme Court situation, which is why they killed Scalia, so it could go for Hillary. I'm telling you, they got it set up. But I'm telling you, we'll show them stealing it if we got enough people inside the central systems, not just at the precinct levels. We need to be precinct, but more importantly, the central hub of your county is where the dirty deed's going to go down.
Absolutely. I also wanted to mention how encouraged I am, because I have a 14-year-old. I know you have a son about the same age, and how encouraged I am by the number of awake kids in that age group in the high school level. And
hey, you heard, I mean, I'm sorry to keep interrupting. You're just making all these bombshell points. You're such a great caller. I'll hold you over so you can have more points if you want to. But listen, my son is 13, about to be 14, and my older daughter's 12. They say everybody at the school basically listens to me, and I talk to other folks around the country. They say InfoWars is super hot with young people.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you, my son, he has a Instagram page called Northeast.Conservatives at Instagram, and they shut him down. They censored and suspended his account for things, just for simple Hillary commentary and memes.
But that's going to teach him to fight back even harder, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's a huge fan of Milo, and when he heard he got banned from Twitter, he thought it was the greatest thing ever, because that goes...
Let me ask you this question, then we'll go to our guests. I'm going to come back, but I want you to finish up talking about what has your son done to get other platforms, his own platform, so they can't censor him, because that's the answer. But Andy in Maine, your son, you said, had a popular Instagram and that it got banned. This has happened to family of mine that even put up mild things critical of Hillary, because they really don't want young people having their free speech. They want to teach you that they're going to censor you like Facebook's been doing. The answer to that is getting a YouTube channel, starting a bunch of Facebook channels, fighting back. YouTube tried to censor us last week. I threatened to sue them. They backed off. I'm not looking for trouble, but we have to keep the internet open and free. Go ahead and finish your story.
Absolutely. Again, Northeast.Conservatives at Instagram. And I'm going to put Cameron on the phone with you, Alex. Hold on.
Sure, but is it back up, or, I mean, how long do they censor it?
Hi, this is Cameron. I run the account, and it's been up for about since June 16th now,
but before that, we had 2 other accounts. This is our 3rd one.
I understand.
That
So
was
as
shut
you
down.
get popular, they take it down and teach you how open and tolerant they are.
Yeah, once we start saying stuff about Hillary in particular, it gets shut down.
Well,
Like,
the answer is to screenshot your old site, put YouTube videos up about what they did, doppelgang it with Facebook, but also your own website, as Drudge says. You must have your own platform. So they make it easy for you to go to them so they can control you. Have your own platform, your own base, that you then launch information warfare attacks with the truth into their systems. But when you go into the matrix, you've got to jack in. You've got to have your own ship. So I'm telling you, I want you to go to the next level. I want you to start your own website. Go take a class if you need to, but they're really easy. And start pointing out that you're being censored, you're being controlled. And listen, make it a whole career. This is the answer, what you're doing right now.
Thank you.
Anything else you'd like to add?
Thank you. No, thank you. That's pretty much it.
All right, tell folks
people
your
to
site
come
now while
on
it's
there.
still up. Because they want to
Yeah.
intimidate young people. This is how authoritarian they are.
Yeah, exactly. My dad also says to go on to his Facebook page, the Vote Protectors.
All right, God bless you.
He's getting it started too. All right,
right.
thank you. You too.
Thank you. We need to see young people just out there reporting with their own video camera. Everybody just go, have your own YouTube, say, I'm out here doing, exit polls. Just do it. Just do it, and we'll have eyes everywhere, and it's game over.
In 1993, Hillary Clinton ordered Vince Foster's dead body to be moved and dumped to avoid a murder investigation. New York Times best-selling author Roger Stone names names. The Clintons' War on Women, in stores now.
In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries in the area of health. But no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. DNA Force is one of the most expensive formulas to produce. Some of the ingredients in DNA Force are $12,000 a kilogram. We are using the coveted, patented, only American source of PQQ, CoQ10, and more. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? Well, we're bringing you a total win-win. The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. We have produced a limited run of DNA Force, and it will take up to 12 weeks to produce more once we sell out. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. DNA Force from InfoWars Life.